Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to address the drama around Kislev. So grab a brew, get comfortable and let's get cracking. Yay, so we have got drama around the Kislev, and it's basically from a statement that Games Workshop have made at least twice now. So a couple of weeks ago, a bit, well, more like a sort of almost like a week after launch, they did an article about a book based in Warhammer Fantasy, one of the old Warhammer Fantasy books, and it has some Kislev Lancers in it. And at the bottom of that article, they made the statement that the Kislev are not coming for the foreseeable future. And obviously this caused a little bit of a rumble, and that kind of died down. And nothing really was said about much about it, apart from a few people sharing it on social media. Then Games Workshop a few days ago put out this article about Total War 3 and the new DLC that's been updated and everything else, which is really good, by the way. But at the very end of the article, they finished with this, and that is: the old world should note that there aren't any current plans to bring Kislev or the Grand Cathay to the tabletop for the foreseeable future. Now, obviously, this caused a lot of drama again. It was shared on social media, people making hyperbolic posts about how Games Workshop have lied and tricked, and then the content creators then jumped onto this. So we had notable content creators like Chapter Master Valrak, Hellstorm Wargaming, and I wouldn't really call Hellstorm Wargaming notable, but there was a lot of sort of showing this on social media, on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. So let's just address this. But first things first, obviously, yes, I made a video 3 weeks ago here saying Kislev and Cathay are coming, and in that I predicted or said that I have a strong feeling that we'll probably see this faction next year after all of the old world core factions have been released. I still stand by that, and the reason why is we're going to jump in and talk about that now. So this statement here, for the foreseeable future, what does that mean? Well, Games Workshop have to schedule in their releases. So one of the biggest telling factors of why the old world is having a few issues right now is we haven't been given a roadmap. So we don't have a roadmap for the old world. We have a roadmap for 40k. We have a rough idea that, well, we don't really need a roadmap for Age of Sigmar, because we know now that we're just going to get the last Dawnbringer Crusade books, and then come the summer, probably June the 22nd, mark my words, is going to be the release date of 4th edition Age of Sigmar. Going to be doing a video on that later next month. And I would imagine that the reason why we haven't been given a roadmap is yet because obviously there's no need for one. But once we get 4th edition, they will probably release a roadmap later this year for Age of Sigmar and showing how that edition is going to roll out, very much like they did for 40k. The Horus heresy has a roadmap up until winter this year, which means that sometime probably next month or in April, maybe May, we'll get another roadmap showing a rough idea of what's coming over the next year of releases. This is how Games Workshop and a lot of companies do things, because they have to schedule in these things to when they're going to be released, and they can't give an exact date. That's the reason why they give us a 3-month window. It's like, we're going to release this Horus Heresy Command Squad in winter. Well, that's cool. Winter is where it's right now, so we're expecting to see it at some point in the next few weeks, or at least the next month. You've got to remember that winter technically ends on the 21st of March, and then we're moving into spring. So they have until basically the 21st of March to release that command squad and release the Mystery Army, the Solar Auxiliary, which is basically earmarked for winter. Games Workshop are having a number of issues, especially with stock, and it's not just affecting the old world, it's affecting everything else. Age of Sigmar, 40k, Horus Heresy, especially for the residents, are really getting hammered right now, and the fact that you can't seem to buy things. They can't seem to hold enough stock. Now, even that's a really, really good thing, which I think it is, but it's also a bad thing because customers can't buy what they want, and that has like negative effects. So I think over time this will slowly but surely sort of smoothen itself out, and they will fix it. I am fully aware that they will definitely fix it, and the old world will definitely get fixed, because I don't think Games Workshop expected the amount of hype for this game, and I think they were definitely caught with their pants down when it comes to stock levels for this, and this will organically slowly fix itself, because obviously the orcs will come up on pre-order, and then everyone who wants the orcs will jump onto the orcs, or everyone who's got the interest will jump onto that, and the Tomb Kings and the Bretonnian players who are sitting there patiently waiting for their stuff will slowly be able to start buying what they need, and then it will keep going. The people that want Empire will get their Empire stuff, High Elves, etc., etc., and it'll slowly smooth itself out. But this comment here about Kislev and Grand Cathay to the tabletop for the foreseeable future. Now, they have done articles, and I can go back and I can show you these articles where back in 2020 and a few years later they had articles about the Cathay and the Kislev coming to the tabletop, and they're saying that they will come to the tabletop. And I do believe that that is still the plan. They will bring these two factions to the tabletop sometime in the future. The foreseeable future, I don't take literal. It's market speak for we haven't scheduled this in yet. It's market speak for we have no plans to put this out. And that is realistic. Like, they haven't even released all of the Bretonnian things yet, and people are crying because they can't get Kislev. Like, seriously. I think they will get added, and it's going to take time. Now, initially, I was under the impression and hoped that all core factions would be out by the summer. I am now changing that view and coinciding with the issues that Games Workshop having, and probably saying that it's probably going to take a 12 months to 18 months to get everything out for the old world. And I do think that's a realistic window. I think initially I thought they would be able to get it out within the 6 months, because obviously there's no real sort of production to be done in regards to tooling and everything else, because they've already got the molds and the tools sat there. So I think 12 months over the next year is going to be a reasonable estimation of how this is going to be released. So definitely revising it on what I initially said in that other video. I think if you're getting angry at Games Workshop and accusing them of lying, I think that's a little bit harsh and a little bit too much. They're not lying to you. People have accused them of saying that they were going to be part of the narrative, and they're not. Well, they are, because they're in the rulebook. They're a part of the story. They're very integral for the first War of Chaos. So they're obviously going to be a part of the narrative at some stage in the future. They've said that they're going to bring them to the tabletop, which I fully think that they will bring them to the tabletop. And one of the things that as well is that people seem to forget is when they look at those past articles, it's for concept art. Now, I firmly believe that when we were shown those concept arts, that's literally at the stage they were when designing them. They were right at the beginning of the process. I think they made the decision to bring back the old world in 2020, and that was then the initial plan is we're going to bring back these old factions and these old miniatures, and we're going to design these new factions. And I think the artwork that we were shown was literally the start of this design process. They've shown us the concept arts. They've shown us the ideas that they were going to be doing, and that will have a lead up time. Now, we know that it can take Games Workshop anything from 2.5 years to 3 years from sculpting to release, which means that at some point during this 4 year window of waiting for the old world to come out, I do think that some of the Cathay stuff, the Kislev stuff, has probably already been sculpted. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, you also got to remember as well is that this is a specialist game, so it's not a core game. It's not 40k or Age of Sigmar, so it doesn't take this precedent. And there's a lot of social media content creators coming out with things like there is drama between studios. I think that's complete bollocks. And the people that are coming out with that haven't worked for Games Workshop for some time, and they probably have no real insight in that. They can turn around and go, well, I worked at Games Workshop. You were a part of the community team. And you probably have no real idea what's going on behind that closed door that we've seen photos of that basically says no mobile phones past this point. It's a closed door, it's a closed in studio, and I would imagine that whatever goes on in there pretty much stays in there. And these individuals that are coming out with these statements are talking crap. Another thing as well is we've had Valrak and stuff coming out about his things that could be political, the war in Ukraine. It's not. This has got nothing to do with the war in Ukraine. Absolutely, completely and utterly nothing. They're not going to change or delay or remove a faction because there's a war in Eastern Europe. That's just not going to happen. It's just stupid to even think that. And the whole thing with Russia and everything else, I don't think Games Workshop really care. Now, I think they did what everyone else around the world did, which was to basically close and stop selling things to Russia, because that seemed to be what the West and the world were doing. So I don't think they're going to go, oh, we're not making Kislev because there's a war in Ukraine. That's just stupid. I think the reason why there's probably going to be some form of delay or pause on bringing these factions is probably down to the logistical issues that the company are seeing themselves in right now. And until the company iron those out, build more factories, sort out the logistics and their warehousing, and actually get on top of their stock levels, we're probably not going to see any real movement on the Kislev or the Cathay anytime soon until that's done. But I would imagine that if they are coming, then we're not really going to see any teasers until the end of the year. So, if you are one of those people who are getting really butthurt over this and kicking off and calling Games Workshop names and doing whatever, like seriously, take a chill pill. It's a toy soldier. If you really are that angry about it, go and 3D print an army. Like seriously, this isn't worth getting your knickers in a twist over. So yeah, it's no problem. I'm not going to drama farm over this. I'm not going to make a video like trying to cause drama for Games Workshop and create up like negative responses when there's no need to, because this is probably simply down to marketing speak and marketing terminologies to come out and try to limit our expectations. And companies have to do that. And this is why Games Workshop never, ever, ever tell you an actual release date of when something's coming out until they announce it on pre-order. And there's a reason for that, because if they turn around and say Kislev are coming next year and they don't deliver on Kislev coming next year, then they will be crucified. They will be absolutely run through the ringer because they said they were going to do something and then they didn't do it. So it's easier for the company just not to say anything and say this isn't coming anytime soon until they actually have a secure, sound plan put in place with the amount of stock that they've got, the window that's going to get manufactured, and the window at when they're going to put that out on pre-order and when they're going to release it and when the next wave is coming. They will plan that, and then they will go, right, this is when it's coming, and that's when we will hear about it. Until then, we don't know. I firmly do believe that we will see Kislev at some stage next year, or start hearing about Kislev miniatures some point next year. If not at the end of this year, but definitely sometime next year, because it makes logical sense. So that's I just wanted to address this thing, because I have made a video about saying that they're coming and all they're not. So I just wanted to address that and clear that up. Yes, things have happened over the last month. The Old World has been an interesting release. It's been a fun release. I am really looking forward to getting my first game in this week. I am absolutely loving the miniatures. I've got a painting tutorial already up on the channel, and you can check that out and watch it. And hopefully you'll enjoy that one. There's many more of them coming. I have also got another video talking about old models versus the new models. Very much, sort of looking at the old, because I have really enjoyed painting up, especially painting up the old models. And I go into in that video about why I like that. So if you do like my content, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, ring that bell, and if you want to support me in other ways, you can check out my members area and my Patreon, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.